Frank Granito joining us. He is the voice of the FCIAC on the HAN network, and because many of the HAN games air here on Vantage Sportsnet, I'm going to cheat and say you're part of our team. So, Frank, thanks for coming in. There's not a guy who's seen more games in the FCIAC than Frank has, so thanks for coming in and breaking some of this down. Let's start with hockey, because I know this is hockey is near and dear to your heart, but give us what you like. You and I were talking earlier in the week. You said you like this Greenwich team.
Well, you know, the Greenwich team for me is one of the deepest team, if not the deepest team in the conference. You're led up front by Alex Mojian, who's arguably going to be the player of the year in Division One. They just got back Connor Sanders. We got to look at Mojian here, what he can do. I mean, that's a zero-angle shot, and he's going to send it to the water bottle district. You know, they bring on a guy like Nikita Kovalev, only a sophomore, of course, his father, the great Alexei Kovalev. But then you have guys, JT Lawrence, who's a captain on this team, doing so well. Oliver Fulton, a four-year player for this program. Connor Santry is back. Here's Matt Davey against Ridgefield last week. They've got three legit lines that they can run. The one thing that might be a little concerning, Ben Nash in goal, only a sophomore. How does he react to being thrown into the playoff atmosphere? That's going to be a big experience for him. One benefit might be those games move from Terry Connors to the Darien Ice House Saturday, so not as raucous a crowd as we might be used to in the postseason. But Greenwich has certainly got to be the favorite, and with the win over St. Joe's, they'll end up as the #1 seed in that tournament.
Okay, and then I'm guessing Ridgefield's going to get that #2 seed. Ridgefield with a couple of, they got tripped up against Fairfield Prep, but so does everybody.
I mean, in Division One and in the state of Connecticut, it's Fairfield Prep and it's everybody else. That's just, this is a prep team like we saw in the mid-2000s, early 2010s. Ridgefield, though, they lose that huge senior class after winning their 4th FCIAC championship in the past 10 years, but they come back. There's still experience on this roster. Junior goaltender Sean Gordon has been unbelievable for Coach Sean Gallagher, and I love the combination up front of Will Forrest and Nick Cullen on that top line. The two are completely in sync, and they are a tough pair to have to deal with. So Ridgefield, for me, you know, it's really hard to say they're not equal with Greenwich because of the depth of Greenwich. Ridgefield is a close second heading into the tournament.
All right, so then you've got Darien, and you have a team that you know very well, New Canaan. New Canaan's got this kid, you may have heard of him, Gunnar Granito, who has been on a scoring binge lately. I mean, every time I look, he's scoring another goal.
I like to think that everything Granito learned from scoring was from watching what I didn't do. You know, listen, the young kid, my younger brother, of course, he's having a great junior year. This is a Rams team under first-year coach Clark Jones that I think could surprise some people, if not in the FCIAC tournament, in the state tournament. They've been a little disappointing in the FCIAC this year. They're going to come in as the 6th seed. But what's crazy is they're the 3rd highest ranked FCIAC team in Division One, and they've got big wins over Notre Dame of Fairfield, Northwest Catholic, Xavier. How about the play of goaltender Dylan Shane?
It just started in December,
He literally, you know what, the Rams had a couple guys injured, a couple guys who were sick. They didn't have a lot of goalies in the school. He decided, this is the quickest way for me to get on the ice. And let that be a lesson, kids. Take whatever opportunity gets you onto the field. The young man, honestly, if there were a player of the year kind of nominee, you know, a turnaround player sort of thing, this kid has been incredible for the Rams. That's going to be a lot of fun. As you know, we've got the games going on the HAN Network Saturday. Looking like Darien and New Canaan are going to be the quarterfinal matchup. What a game that will be, of course, another chapter in that great rivalry.
When those two teams meet up, it's always a good time. All right, let's switch gears now and talk a little about basketball. The #1 overall seed is Ridgefield. Ridgefield earned that top seed, and you know, they've got good inside play, good outside play. Do you think this Ridgefield team is a team that can win it?
You know, it's hard to pick against a Ridgefield team who just quietly goes about their business. They're not as flashy as some other teams in the league. Obviously, you look at the top 4, and there's just that big combination down low for Trinity Catholic. Danbury's got Denali Burton. Of course, Sean Conway is going to be the player of the year for Fairfield Ward. But Ridgefield, Brendan McNamara, everyone knew. Where did James St. Pierre come out of? You know, the year that he has had for them. Coach McClellan's done such a great job of getting his guys ready to go and on board as the next man up mentality. But the FCIAC basketball tournament, in my opinion, is as open a tournament as we are going to see this year.
So we're running out of time here, Frank, but I want to bring up a team that I think has so much talent it's going to pose a problem, and that is Trinity Catholic, the #2 team. And listen, I don't know anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Walsh calls this his final season. It would be a nice way to go out FCIAC style, and he has the horses on the court to do it.
Dimitri Moyes, Contavio Dutrail Contavio are so good down low. They're so much fun to watch play. And you're right, a lot of people thought maybe last year would be Coach Walsh's final year. I think he felt a connection with these two seniors. He wanted to come back, and there was unfinished business after that quarterfinal loss to Wilton last year. The big question for Trinity Catholic, and it's no secret to anyone, consistency has been a problem. Can this team piece together 3 big wins in conference play? And as if it wasn't a tough enough tournament, now you got a little X factor playing city rival Stanford in the first round.
Right. All right, so the games, all of the games for the basketball we'll be able to see here on Vantage Sports Net.
They will be on the Vantage Sports Net at 12, 2, 5, and 7.
So don't go anywhere. Just buy some popcorn, plop it on your couch. Frank, thank you so much for coming in. You were doing the game earlier today, that Wilton-Trumbull girls game, and here you are now. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
A lot of fun to be here. And I tell you what, my last thought, I think the Trumbull girls, they might be double L champions this year. They look so good.
All right. We heard it here. We're going to keep the tape.
I like it.
Frank Granito, we'll be right back.